Okay, here we go. Let's start up. Let's look at some problems here, go over some sample problems that you'll see similar to the assignment. And I did provide a worksheet here that says worksheet 4, trig ratios, and then it should have a little arrow that says notes, right? This is the problems that I'm going to be covering in the notes, exactly. So if you are able to print this out, print it out. That way you don't have to copy the directions. You don't have to copy every problem. I'm going to actually go over 6. 1, 2, 3, and then there's 4, 5. I'm going to go over 6 problems, okay? So see, you don't have to copy all this. If you can't print it out, if you don't have a printer, well, then you can pause the video. Every time I'm starting with number 1 or number 2, you can pause it to copy the problem and then push play. Again, that's the advantage of the video. You can, you can pause it, you can stop it, you can rewind it, you can watch it as many times as you need. Okay. Well, here we go. I'm not going to pause it. If you need to, you pause it. You copy this first one. And here we go. Okay, so we are using trigonometry here. I know that they're giving me one angle and one side, the measure of one side, and we're trying to find the missing side, right? Find the measure of each side indicated. Well, the one with the variable, right? Okay, so we've done this before. We're gonna label the sides. And again, well, here we go. This is our hypotenuse side, and there's the angle. So that makes that the opposite side, right? And remember, there's only two out of the 3 sides you're really working with. I'm not working with this adjacent side. I'm not gonna label it. Okay, so now how do I know which trig function to use, right? Well, here's so, here's ka, here's toa, right? You gotta look at so, ka, toa, right? It's either gonna be S for sine if I'm using this one, C for cosine, T for tangent. But honestly, it's the one that has the O and the H right here, this one. These other ones do not have the O and the H. I'm not using these. Winners. S. S is for sine, so that's how you know which one you're using. And what does so mean? That means that sine of the angle is equal to, and then remember that's the ratio O over H, your fraction, right? And we did this similar to the previous assignment. So now you're going to fill in the information for these 3 parts. Put the angle there and put the parts for the O and the H in this case. So that's going to be sine of 52 degrees. That's the angle. Is equal to O. 15.2 over X. All right, so here it doesn't look like a proportion yet, but what do we do to make it a proportion? I got a fraction equal to, and I just put a 1 under there like that. Okay, there's my proportion, right? A fraction equal to a fraction, or some people can say a ratio equal to a ratio. It's saying the same thing. Now, how to solve this? Here's what I was talking about in that first video. Let me copy it again so that it doesn't get sloppy here. So sine of 52 over 1 is equal to 15.2 over X. Okay, so now when I cross multiply, let's say I start with the part with the variable. So you're gonna have this, and that is what? Sine of 52 is your number times X. So that's, go over here. Sine of 52 times X is equal to, multiply these two, equal to, now multiply these two. Well, that's 1 times 15.2. Well, that's just going to be 15.2, right? Multiplying by 1 is so easy, right? 1 times 15.2 is 15.2. Here's the part where it's different, and I explained this in the notes, how to solve this in the first video. How do I solve for X? This is not solve for X. right? So remember, this is just a number. So when you have something like 3x equals 12, 3 times the value of x equals 12. Well, don't you divide, right? If there's a number here by the x, don't you divide by 3 to get rid of it, and then you divide by 3 to both sides like that? Yeah, that's what's gonna happen here. Even though that's not like a whole number, this is still it's a value, it's a number. So we don't need to get that number now, but I know that it is a number, so I just need to divide by what? You copy it over here again. Divide by sine of 52 degrees. And if I divide by that, right, because I want to get x by itself, I divide by that here as well. And then that's how I get x by itself. Here, x is now by itself. That's what I want. I want to get x alone on one side of the equal sign. And now this is the part that you have to do on the calculator. But now it's 15.2 divided by sine of 52. And here's where I have a lot of students that can get, you'll do all this right, but you just won't get the answer right because you need to know how to use the calculator correctly. Okay, so I'm gonna get 15.2 and I'm gonna put divided by, and this is where I use parentheses. Parentheses sine of 52, and I close it. I use one parentheses to close the 52 and the other one to close for this one over here. See, and then I hit equals. I got 19.28. I got 19.28. The answer sheet says 19.3, but yeah, if you round off because they're rounding off to the nearest tenth, the 8 would bump this 0.2 to a 0.3, but it's correct. If you put 19.28 or if you put 19.3, it's fine. I'm not going to mark it wrong, as long as you're in that close range. Again, the other way would be, you have the 15.2. The other way would be keep the 15.2 and then get the value of this. Just get this decimal value for sine of 52. So that would be sine of 52 is equal to 0.788. 0.788. Another way to do it would be 15.2, the numerator, divided by, and now I just use that 0.788 equals. See, I'm getting the same 19.28 answer. It's good. Let's do another one, number 2. Here we go. That one I took longer. I kind of explained, but here I'm going to go quicker. All right. Label the sides. This is the hypotenuse. This would be the opposite, but that side's not plane, so I'm not even going to label it. It's just the hypotenuse, not the opposite, so that means it's the adjacent with the hypotenuse side. Which trig function will I use? Let's see. Is it so? Is it ka? Or is it toa? Well, the one that has the a and the h. Well, obviously this has the a and the h, not this and not this. That's how you know which one to use. What is this? What does this ka mean? Well, C stands for what? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Well, cosine of the angle is equal to, and then the a and the h are your, the numerator and the denominator over here for your ratio, for your fraction here. That's what ka means. Okay, that's the one. That's the one we're going to use. That's going to be cosine of, what's the angle here? 42. All right, the angle is 42. Cosine of 42 is equal to what? A, which is 13 over h, which is x. Is that right? Let's see. Yep, that's right. And then we make this look like a proportion, right? I just put a 1 under there. Now it looks like a proportion. I got a fraction equal to a fraction. Let's solve this. Cosine of 42 over 1 is equal to 13 over x. How do we do this? Remember, I always look where the variable is and I start there. Variable's right here. Well, that's going to be what? That's going to be cosine of 42 degrees. That's my number times x is equal to what? Now you multiply these over here. 1 times 13 is just 13. Okay. And then now how do I finish this? I want to solve for x. I want x by itself. So what do I do to get x by itself? Well, you got to just remember that this is just a number. So if I want a number here next to an x, it's multiply. How do I undo it? You divide, right? Divide by cosine of 42. Divide by cosine of 42. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other side. And then you get the x by itself. X is equal to 13 cosine 42. That answer is going to be, what is it? 13 divided by parentheses cosine 42, close. 17.49. I got 17.49. Yeah, they're rounding this off to the nearest 10, so the answer sheet says 17.5. That's fine, that's good. Either of those two I will accept. That's correct. All right, let's continue. And let me zoom in here for those of you that need to copy this problem first. Pause it right about now. Wait, pause it now, copy it down. When you're ready, push play. All right, here we go. Which one's the hypotenuse? This is the hypotenuse, but this is not the one that's, we're not using this side, so I'm not gonna label the H. So the sides that are in play are the opposite and the adjacent, right? Well, we know SOHCAHTOA. TOA. I know this is going to be TOA because that's the one with the O and the A. If you need to write all three, write them down. But I already know the O and the A is TOA. That's the function you're going to use. What does that mean? That means that tangent, the T is for tangent of the angle, is equal to O over A. And look at the angle here and look at the O and the A here and put that information in here. Tangent of, what's the angle here? 62 degrees is equal to O, 10.5, A. Oh, that's the one we're trying to find, X. All right, and here is where you set up the proportion, right? Put a 1 under it like this. Cross multiply. Tangent of 62 over 1 is equal to, what is this? 10.5 over x. I start with the variable there, so that's, the number is tangent of 62 times x is equal to, cross multiply here these two, and then I multiply, and then the other side is, well, 10.5 times 1 is just 10.5. And then, how do you finish this? Well, x is not by itself. It's this number times x. How do I just get x by itself? You divide by this number. I don't need to know this number right now, but I know it's a number. Divide by tangent of 62 to both sides. And I'm running out of paper here, so I guess I'm going to get this one. That's going to be what? Now x is by itself. You're going to have x is equal to, whatever 10.5 times tangent of 62 degrees is. That's going to be, well, do it on the calculator. That's the calculator part. What is that? 10.5 divided by 10.5 divided by, and this is where I use parentheses. What is it? Tangent of 62. Tangent 62. And then I close the parentheses for the 62, and then I close another parentheses for this one out here, and then I hit an equal sign. I got 5.58. I got 5.58. The answer sheet says 5.6. Yeah, that's about right, right? Because this 8 will either round it off to the nearest tenth. This 8 will bump this 5 up to a 6. So either of these two answers are acceptable. All right. I said I was going to do 6 problems, but honestly, I think these 3 cover it all. Okay, so again, if you need to rewatch this or look, go back, see it again, play it again, and if you still don't get something or you don't understand something, you're having trouble using the calculator, come and see me during office hours. All right, or email me. All right, good luck. There you go.